$1.50. That is the coffee from the machine by the time clock. You are 18. Your first paycheck hit Thursday, $892 after taxes, 2 weeks at $13 an hour. $200 of that $892 is the decision that separates the $1,240,000 retirement from the $543,000. 1. Most people do not run this math until their late 20s or early 30s. By the end of this video, you will know exactly what each year of waiting costs and what starting at 18 builds year by year from the first emergency to the last paycheck. Because by the time you are 27, that account will be making more money every month than you are putting into it. And by 65, two people who invested the same $200 a month, one starting at 18 and one starting at 28, end up $697,000 apart. Same monthly contribution, 10 years difference. The gap is that large. Age 18. You look at the paycheck on your phone, $892. You look at the $200 automatic transfer you set up last week on a phone you almost dropped in the break room. It is going to a Roth IRA, a retirement account that lets your investments grow without being taxed when you take the money out at retirement, at a brokerage running a broad market index fund, meaning your money owns a small piece of every major company at once. You read about both of these things in an article someone shared on a finance forum at 11:41 at night. You did not fully understand what you were doing. You understood enough. The $200 leaves your account on the first of every month. You feel it. It is not nothing at $13 an hour. It is 11.5 hours of your time, gone before you see it. You consider canceling it twice in the first 3 months. Once when the debit card declined at a gas station for $31. Once when you needed new work shoes and had to borrow $40 from your roommate. You do not cancel it. The first month, the account grows by $200 and gains $1.33 in returns, 4 cents a day. You check the account once, feel nothing in particular, and close the app. The system does not care whether you feel anything about it. Here is what you do not understand yet about compound interest. It is your money making money on itself, and then that money making money on itself again every month for the next 47 years. The savings account earns $2 a month. This is not that. $200. The $892 paycheck. The time clock. The $1.50 coffee. That is where the $1,240,000 starts. Age 22. You are driving home from a long shift on a Thursday when the car starts shaking. By Friday morning, the mechanic calls with a quote. Transmission work, $1,847. You have $340 in checking. You have $11,270 in the investment account, 4 years of $200 a month compounding at 8% a year. You are not going to touch the investment account. That money is not for this. When you set it up, you made that the rule, not because you were unusually disciplined, but because you also built a small cash buffer alongside it. $1,500 in a savings account you opened specifically for emergencies. You read that investing without a cash buffer is like building a house without a foundation. You pay $1,500 from the buffer and put the remaining $347 on a card. You pay the card off in 6 weeks. Now run the same situation with the person who did not start at 18. They are also 22. They have $340 in checking, nothing in investments. The $1,847 quote hits the same way. They finance the full amount on a card at 24% interest. The minimum payment is $47 a month. That $47 minimum payment lands on the statement every month for nearly a year. Small enough to manage, persistent enough to matter. 22 years old, $340 in checking, and a bill the situation did not care about producing. That is not a judgment. That is a position. The difference at 22 is not the investment account. It is the discipline the investment account forced you to build alongside it. Age 25. You have 2 job offers on the table. Company A is a smaller firm, work you actually want to do, $51,000 a year. Company B is bigger, more stable, work you can tolerate, $62,000 a year. The $11,000 difference used to be the only thing that would have mattered. You used to not have a choice. You have $22,400 in the investment account now. 7 years of compounding at 8%. It is not enough to retire on. It is enough to know that if you take the job you want and it does not work out, you are not finished. You could leave in a year. You could take a few months between jobs if you needed to. You could walk into a negotiation without needing the outcome to go your way. You take the $51,000 job. The version of you who did not start at 18 is also 25. They have about $600 in savings and $3,400 in credit card debt from the emergency repair at 22 that they are still paying off. They take the $62,000 job, not because it is the right move for them, because they cannot afford the risk of the other one. 7 years from now, you will each look back at this moment. You will have made a decade of professional choices based on what you wanted to build. They will have made a decade of choices based on what they needed to earn. Compound interest works on career decisions too. It just does not show up in the balance. Age, 27. Something happens in the account this month that you do not notice right away. The balance is $31,480. 9 years of $200 a month compounding at 8%. You run the calculation. The monthly return on $31,480 at 8% annual is $210. Your monthly contribution is $200. The account is now generating more money every month than you are putting into it. $200 leaves your paycheck. $210 the account creates on its own. This is the crossover point. The moment the system starts contributing more than you do. The version of you who started at 28 just opened their first account this month. Balance, $0. Contribution, $200. They feel the same thing you felt at 18, like it is not enough, like it is going to take forever. They are right that it will take time. They are wrong about what that means. Starting is starting. The clock is the clock. But at 27, your money is working alongside you. At 27, theirs is just getting started. You did not get ahead by working harder. You got ahead by starting sooner. Those are not the same thing. Age 29. You walk into your manager's office to ask for a raise. You have $42,100 in the investment account. 11 years of $200 a month. You do not mention this. It does not come up. But somewhere in the way you sit, in the number you name without pausing on it, something is different about the version of you who walked through that door. You ask for $14,000 more a year. Your manager comes back at $7,200. You hold the number. You are not visibly rattled that it is less than what you asked for. You push once more, calmly. You land at $8,400. Here is what created that walk into the office. You had $42,100 in an account growing at 8% a year and 11 years of the discipline that built it. That gave you something that does not appear on a resume. It gave you the felt sense, not an idea but a physical sense, that you could leave if you needed to. The version of you who started at 28 is also 29. 1 year into the account, about $2,500 saved. They walk into their manager's office too. They ask for $5,000 more. They get $2,000. They feel grateful. They are not worse at negotiating. They simply have less margin for the conversation to go badly. Margin is the word nobody uses when they talk about why starting early matters. Margin is what $42,100 actually buys you. What age did you actually first invest? Drop it in the comments. I want to know the real number. Age 32. The birthday dinner happens on a Friday. 8 people at the table, and somewhere between the main course and the check, the conversation turns to retirement. Marcus, who works in logistics, says he has been meaning to set up his 401k, a workplace retirement account where contributions can come directly out of your paycheck, for the last 2 years. Priya says she finally opened a Roth IRA last September. Someone else at the table nods and says they really need to get serious about this. You have been investing for 14 years. Your account has $61,600 in it. 14 years of $200 a month at 8%. Quick thing before we keep going. If this is landing, subscribe. It's the easiest way to make sure the next one reaches you. Okay, back to it. You do not say any of this. You listen. You tell Marcus that setting up the 401k is the right move and he should do it before the year ends. You mean it. But you also understand that the conversation at this table is the same game you started 14 years ago in a break room, and 14 years of compounding is not something you catch up to by getting serious at 32. You can still build something real from 32. People do it every year. But it is not the same starting position. After the check comes, you split it. Your share is $67. You do not think about $67 being your share. You think about something Marcus said, meaning to set it up for 2 years. Compounding is patient, but it is not waiting. Age 35. The market drops 31% over 3 months. On a Tuesday in October, you open the account and see $86,400. By January, that same account shows $59,600. You lost $26,800 on paper in 1 quarter. You keep the $200 going. You have seen the account dip before. Smaller corrections at 24, at 28, at 31. You know what it looks like when the balance drops and then climbs back. You do not like watching $26,800 disappear. You do not act on not liking it. Now run the same crash for the person who started at 28. At 35, they are 7 years into the account. They have $22,400 before the correction. It drops to $15,500. For someone who spent 7 years building $22,400, losing $6,900 on paper is not an abstract number. Some of them stop contributing. Some sell. They will be told later that staying in was the right move. They will agree. They will wonder why it was so hard to do the right thing when the number kept falling. It was hard because they had 7 years in the account. You had 17, but the longer the account has been running, the smaller a 31% drop feels against the full arc of what you have already seen it do. Market crashes do not treat all investors equally. They treat long investors best. Age 38. You are looking at a house. The one you want is $387,000. Good neighborhood, manageable commute, solid schools. Your account has $117,800 in it, 20 years of $200 a month at 8%. You do not use the investment account for the down payment. That money stays untouched. You have saved separately for the house, the same way you built the emergency buffer at 18. The down payment is $77,400. You have it. The version of you who started at 28 is also 38. 10 years into the account, they have $36,600 in investments. They are also looking at a house, but the down payment came from liquidating part of the investment account. The mortgage payment is $2,340 a month, tight enough that 2 unexpected expenses in the same month would strain the budget. They are still building real wealth. The math still works. But the decision they are making is coming from a different place. Decisions made from abundance look different than decisions made from constraint. Not because the people are different, because the margin is. Age 45? The account has $228,300 in it. You sit down with a calculator and work through what comes next. If you keep the $200 going, and the account keeps returning 8% a year, by 65, you will have $1,240,000. $1,240,000. From $200 a month. Started at a job with a time clock. Funded on $892 paychecks. You have contributed $64,800 total in 27 years. The account has built $163,500 in returns on top of that. Returns on returns on returns. Compounding for 27 years. And it is not finished. The version of you who started at 28 is also 45, 17 years into the account. They have $86,400. If they keep the $200 going through 65, they will end at $543,000, not $1,240,000. $543,000. The gap between you, $697,000. Here is what produced that gap. Between 18 and 28, you invested $24,000 more than they did. $200 a month for 10 years. That $24,000, compounding for 47 years instead of 37, eventually became $697,000 extra. You did not earn $697,000 more. You did not invest $697,000 more. You invested $24,000 more at a different point in time. And time did the rest. Time is the thing you cannot buy back. Age 65. The account says $1,240,000. You remember the $200 transfer. The phone you almost dropped in the break room. The first month when the returns were $1.33. The gas station decline for $31 that made you consider canceling the whole thing. Total invested over 47 years, $112,800. The account added $1,127,200 on top of that, from returns compounding on returns, month after month, decade after decade. For every dollar you put in, compound interest contributed 10 more. The person who started at 28 ends with $543,000. They contributed $88,800 over 37 years. They put in $24,000 less than you did. They got out $697,000 less. That is what $24,000 invested between 18 and 28 becomes after compound interest runs for 47 years. The person who started at 35 ends with $298,200. There is no version of this math where starting later is better. There is only the version where you start now at whatever age now is. Because the second best time to start is always the same day. You still buy the same coffee, the one from the machine by the time clock at the kind of job you took, because you could afford to choose it. None of it announced itself as the decision that changed everything. It just did. Here is the honest question. What age are you right now? Not the age in this video. The age you actually are, and the number of years since 18 that have already run. If you are 22, you have 43 years of compounding available. $200 a month from 22 to 65 at 8% builds $893,000. Not $1,240,000. But $893,000 is not a small number. If you are 28, you are on the $543,000 path if you start today. If you are 35, you are on the $298,200 path. Which path are you on right now? Be honest, because your answer is not a judgment. It is a starting point. Write down the path you are on. Then look at your one move at your specific level. That is your only move today. Not the raise negotiation at 29. Not the housing decision at 38. Not the $228,300 at 45. Your move is the same move it has always been. The $200 transfer, set up to run automatically, on the first of every month. You set it up once. You feel it for a few months. Then the system runs without you needing to feel it at all. The time clock is still there. The coffee is still $1.50. The question is whether the $200 transfer is set up or not. That is your only move today. Your future self will not remember feeling it leave. They will only see what it built. The $200 transfer is one decision. Everything after that is just the system doing what systems do. If you want the Start at 18 calculator, a free PDF that shows exactly what your starting age means for your final number across every age from 18 to 35, the link is in the description. It is free. If you are still figuring out your starting point, Drop your age in the comments. The next video covers what happens inside the account when compound interest starts moving faster than you can track, what it actually looks like when the number does something you stopped expecting. I will see you there. And before you go, if this helped, like it, subscribe, and tell me one thing in the comments so the next one finds you.